Today in the kitchen, we're doing this beautiful Chicago-style deep dish pizza. We did it on the Komodo Kamado. It's so good, I had to have a slice before we even record the intro. Let's get into it. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to make our dough. We're gonna use a scale. You could use cups, but the problem is that when you use a cup with flour and whatnot, you don't know how tight you pack it, so you don't end up with a perfect measurement. What we're gonna do is, this is our bowl, tar it out so we're at 0, and let's get our flour here. Now today we're using all-purpose flour. In a traditional pie you might use 00, but for this pizza we're gonna use just all-purpose flour here. And we're gonna use 1 pound and a quarter. So I'll give you it in grams in a sec here, but it's 16 and a quarter ounce. That's what we're looking for, so which is just over a pound. Actually it's 1 pound and half an ounce, a quarter of an ounce, sorry. And then we've just got some cornmeal here. We're going to tar this out, and we're gonna use 2 3/4 ounces. And we're gonna use some fine sea salt. You can use just normal table salt. And we need 1.5 tablespoons of that. This is just white sugar. You need 2 tablespoons of this. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna put this on our KitchenAid. If you don't have yourself a KitchenAid, you definitely wanna get one. It's one of those things you're gonna buy one time and never buy again, but it's always good to have. The only regret that I have is mine does not have the tilt feature, so I can't tilt the head up, which is a little annoying, but it does the job. It's old. Just gonna give this a quick mix for a minute, get everything mixed in. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add in our water. And today we're using some rapid rise yeast, which traditionally I don't use. I like to use traditional yeast, and I like to do a fermentation overnight, but we're starting this in the middle of the day, and we want to have it done in about 4 hours. So we're going to use some of this. I'll give you a shot of that guy. This one's got some dough conditioner in it. You don't need a dough conditioner, it just happens to be what they had. And if you're unsure about your yeast, you should always bloom it in water, put it in here, give it a stir, let it sit for 10 minutes. It should be all foamy on top. And we're using 95-degree water for this. I literally just bought this, so the chances of it not being good are slim to none. And what we'll do here is now we're gonna mix on low until we get it all combined for a couple minutes. I'm gonna add this in, I forgot to add, this is melted butter, 3 tablespoons. And now everything's kind of started to come together, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna speed this up. We are gonna use one of these guys just to scrape the sides. We're gonna go about 5 or 6 minutes on medium. All right, so it's been exactly 5 minutes. We've got what we're looking for. One thing I'll show you here is that look how clean that bowl is. Didn't even have to use this, okay? So that's how you know it's all coming together nicely. We'll move this out of the way. Now this is gonna be a little sticky, not too bad though. Try and get all of it out of your bowl here. And kind of move your hands quick. And all we're gonna do here is we're gonna put a little olive oil in here, maybe a tablespoon. This will just help it so it doesn't stick to the sides when it rises. Get a little higher up. And we're gonna ball this up. And it's gonna have a texture to it, right? Because we have cornmeal in it. This is not like a traditional dough. It's gonna give it that little bit of a crunch to it. And really what I'm doing is I'm kind of chopping at the back of it and just sealing that up, right? Actually, I'm just realizing this. So you can see your texture in here. Now, because we're using rapid rise yeast, roll this around one time so you get covered. Because we're using rapid rise yeast, this is only gonna take 45 to 75 minutes. We're putting the oil in there to make it so it doesn't stick to the bowl. We also wanna cover the top a little bit. I'll just make sure it doesn't dry out. In addition to that, we're going to cover this guy up. You can use a towel. If you use a towel, just use a moist towel. Cover this guy up so no air gets in there. And this is gonna double. As I mentioned before, I usually use traditional yeast, and the process rapid yeast has about 10% more yeast activity in it. I don't know what the word is for it, but it'll greatly increase by about 10%, rise faster by 10% is what I'm trying to say. So traditionally, if you use yeast, it's going to be an hour and a half to 2 hours before you're going to double in size. This is going to go in 45 to 75 minutes. There isn't going to be a huge difference in the outcome, except for if you use a traditional yeast and you slow it down and you do a cold ferment. That's how you really get your flavor into your dough. But this isn't really a thick, airy dough that we care about as much as this is more of a pie, right? It is a pizza, but this is Chicago deep dish pizza, and it eats more like a pie. And really, all of it coming together is what's going to make that special taste. So while we're waiting for our dough to rise, we've got to make our sauce. Got a couple different things here. We've got some cloves of garlic. Have to peel these guys. These ones are that one's not too bad of a size, but a couple of these other ones are a little on the smaller. 2 or 3 cloves of garlic is all you really need. I've got some smaller ones, and I'm afraid of vampires, so I always use extra garlic. I have in here 2 tablespoons of melted butter. Unsalted, I'm using Kerrygold butter. We use a garlic press here. I'll need my knife back, I guess, but what I'll do here is just kind of move this down a little bit. Make sure I can get all my garlic. And as you can tell, this butter's already warm, but we're gonna put this on for 30 seconds. You want that smelling fragrant. You don't want to burn the garlic. Really 30 seconds is all you're gonna need. Side tip, if you clean while you go, it'll make things a lot easier. Here we've got just a small onion. We're gonna use a microplaner on this. The reason we're doing this is we're gonna let the onions kind of melt into the sauce. Rather than having some texture, we're gonna get the flavor of the onion, but they're gonna be melted in, so you're really not gonna have much of a chew on the onion. And we need about 1/4 of a white onion here. This is great for like even a hamburger. I'll do this so that I still get lots of onion flavor, but I don't get a fall apart burger, which sometimes happens. And you can see it's just a nice kind of paste there that forms. Now I like this is a microplaner. I have I think it's a medium that would work a little bit better here, but I can't find it. And we've got between the top and the bottom, we've got about 1/4 onion in there now. Now what we'll do is we've just got some crushed tomatoes here. And finally we'll use some oregano and about 3/4 of a tablespoon. Salt to taste, but you're probably gonna need, half a tablespoon. Just a pinch of white sugar. It'll just take the edge off. We don't need it sweet. And we're talking like 3/4 of a teaspoon, not much at all. We'll give this a stir in and we'll cook this for about 15 minutes or so. Forgot we need some pepper. About half a teaspoon there, and we need some, ideally I would have fresh basil, but I do not have any, so we're gonna use some dried. We use about 3/4 of a tablespoon. Same as what we used of that oregano. Fresh is definitely better. I forgot I want a tablespoon of olive oil in there. Now we will simmer this for 15-20 minutes. So it's been about 90 minutes. Let's have a look at our sauce. You can see it's nice and thick. All right, and I simmered this for about 25 minutes or so. The Centos brand doesn't have a lot of water added. Some other brands have a bunch of water in there, and it'll take 30-35 minutes, but you really want to get it kind of thick, not too runny. I made some bacon, and we've got our dough. So now we've got a decision to make. This batch of dough will make either 2 9-inch pans or 1 12-inch pan. Right? I'm gonna make a 12-inch pan because I've only got one of these, but you could go either way. If you want to make 2 different kinds of pie, you could do it that way. We're not quite ready there, but I just wanted to show you because it's gonna make a difference whether or not we divide this or not. So our dough is kind of doubled in size here. Got a fair amount of oil on it. What I'm gonna do is we're going to kind of spread this out a little bit. It's nice and pliable. It's gotten a lot smoother. And if you're going to make 2 9-inch, you wanna get it pretty thin. You would spread it out like so. And then we've got 3 tablespoons of softened butter here. And we're gonna take this, we're just gonna give this a nice spread around this whole thing. Then what we're gonna do is we're going to just kind of fold this up. Again, if you're using 9, just cut it in half. I'm just gonna seal those edges so the butter stays in the middle, and then we'll make this into another ball. And like any other pizza dough, you just wanna tuck that bottom in there. Make sure it's sealed in like so. Grab your saran wrap or plastic wrap again. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this rest for about 45 minutes to 60 minutes. Now we'll go outside and we'll fire up our Komodo Kamado. So the one thing I did here after I filmed all that, I actually decided that I wanted a little bit more lump in there. I've got a whole bunch of the cocoa char from Komodo Kamado, so I added another 8 pieces on top just to get a third layer on there. They'll all heat up. And what we're gonna do is we're slowly gonna bring that up to a temperature of 425. Once we get up to 425, then I'm gonna put my pizza stone in there, let that get heat soaked, and by the time that's heat soaked, we'll be able to come inside and make our pie. All right, so it's been about 50 minutes. We'll get this guy out and we'll roll it out. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take a rolling pin and we're gonna roll this out till it's about 1/4 inch thick. Push out all the air. And our goal here is we want it a little bit bigger than our pan. Now, because this is for 2 9s or the 12, we definitely have some extra here. So what you can do here is just kind of roll this over top, which is gonna be a little difficult because this is a very heavy rolling pin, and we'll roll it in like so. All right. Pick it up here a little bit. There we go. I'm just gonna try and get this come over the edge just a little bit. If you have problems working it, what you can do is you can let it rest 5-10 minutes and the gluten will relax a little bit, but this actually isn't too bad. Just realized I totally forgot to oil my pan. Well, yes. All right. So there's a ton of oil on here, but I don't want to take a chance. So we will roll that over a little bit. I'll take this guy like so. We'll pick up this side. Go over here. Good thing I caught that before we put this together. That would have probably stuck to the pan and been a little bit of a bear to work with. So now we will reform our guy here. Kind of push that in the corner so that we want this to come up the sides a little bit here. All right, that's gonna have to work. You could take it up and over and then just trim it, but I think we're gonna be okay. And what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take, this is just some sliced mozzarella. We're gonna put a layer down the bottom. This step is kind of optional, but I wanted to get a nice little layer of cheese on the bottom. Oh, you know what, I didn't get enough. I could probably let this gluten relax for a little bit so I could get more of an edge here. It's pulling itself back down, but I'm kind of in a little bit of a rush. So I think we're gonna push through. It's quite windy outside, that's why we're inside today. Now we're gonna go do some toppings. I've got some pepperoni. This pepperoni was quite greasy, so I just put it between some paper towel. We've got some ham. We've got some bacon, yeah. And we got some man bacon, like these are full-size bacon bits, not the little wimpy crumbles you get at a pizza joint. We all know that bacon makes everything better. And then we've got some ham here. Oh, I just realized I want some onion. Love me some onion on my pizzas. Luckily, I've got some onion left from when I was microplaning it before. Pretty good. Pepperoni. 12-inch pie takes a little bit more pepperoni than I expected. A couple more pieces there. All right, that's gone. That's done. That's done. Let's get some onion real quick. You know what? I actually would like some red onion. Now, I'm one of those people that feels you can't have enough onion on a pizza. I always ask for extra onion, and I'm nearly always disappointed because I'm like, if this is extra, what do you put on it normally? Barely anything on here. Break that big piece up there. It's pretty good to me. Now we will put on our cheese. On this guy, we're gonna go about almost 3 cups of cheese here. Fair amount of cheese on top. See if I can get these edges to rise up a little bit. And last but not least, some sauce. And the goal here is to get this all covered on top with some sauce and not disturb my cheese. It almost feels like I could have used a little bit more sauce, to be honest. Can't you see I'm making a video? This is done. What we're gonna do now is, I wish I actually had a little bit more sauce, but I think as it settles down, it'll spread out a little bit. Komodo Kamado's been running at 425. It's nice and preheated. We're gonna put this right on top. I'll take it outside, put it on there, and then we're gonna let it roll for 25 to 35 minutes. All right, it's been 27 minutes. Let's go get our pie. Look at that guy. That's looking good. It's looking good. Now, for my next trick. Let's see if I can get this out of here. You want to get it out of here pretty quick because we want the crust to stay crispy. Well, that's a good sign right out of the gate. And we want to let it cool off. Big spatula or small spatula? I think I jinxed myself. What else do I have that can get me underneath there? Let me try something with a little bit more. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, there we go. There we go. Although I think I really want the big one underneath there, judging by how heavy this guy is. Come on, baby. Don't fail me now. I tore one piece of it, so that's why it's catching. Come on, come on, come on. You can do it. I only get one chance of that. They make it look so easy, but I struggled a little bit. Basically what happened is I tore it there and it was catching on me, but I don't know. You guys tell me. I think it looks pretty good. I've only made a couple of these in my life. Hopefully I did it justice. We now have to let this cool for 15 minutes before I can even try it. Longest 15 minutes ever. Gotta be honest, almost started early twice. I was like, I'm gonna let it wait the whole 15 minutes. It's still gonna be hot, still feels warm. Got a little bit of a hole in the bottom there, so I'm gonna just clean this up a little bit. Probably poked a hole when I was trying to get it out of the pan. And I don't wanna put it down in that. But this took, I think 27 minutes to cook. At 10 minutes in, it was looking pretty good. At 20 minutes in, it looked great. And 25 minutes, it wasn't too bad. I just wanted to get it to firm up just a little bit more. So we pushed it to 27, and I did creep up to 450 for about the last 10 minutes. So if you're sticking that 425, you might end up going the full 30, 35 minutes, just to give you an idea. Oh, yeah, that's satisfying. So I think we'll just, I'm not gonna cut this in half. I'm just gonna cut myself out a chunk. Let's go into the center just a little bit more. Feels nice and crispy. Tell me that doesn't look good. The bottom's actually almost a little thicker than it needs to be. What I should have done is I should have waited 10 minutes and then re-pushed it up to the side so I didn't have as thick a bottom. It's gonna be fine. I am always hypercritical of myself. So every time I see something, I'm like, well, I could have done this. But overall, I mean, I think it looks pretty damn good. Ollie seems to think so. He's over here. It's still quite hot. Wow. That, my friends, it's got some delicious taste to it. The sauce is banging. I mean, the sauce is really, really good. Really, really like that. I was a little worried I didn't have enough, but we pushed it out there and it did kind of spread just a little bit once it heated up, but it is thick. I mean, look at that thick mound of sauce there. So you're getting a whole big bold sauce in your mouth, lots of cheese, hits all the marks. The only thing that I could say again is that bottom crust is a little thicker than I would have wanted, but overall it eats very, very well. It's full of flavor. This, my friends, is something you got to try. I did one of these last year for, I think it was our Christmas Eve dinner. It was a cheap night for my wife, and I did one and it turned out really good, so I thought I'd share one. Something like this on the Komodo Kamado is absolutely delicious. If you don't have one of those, you could do all these steps and throw it in your oven at 425 and you'd be equally as happy with it. But pizza on a Kamado is absolutely delicious. If you're a pizza fan, I'll show you one more here. Thanks as always for watching. I'll see you soon.